I'm Christina. Welcome to the Revolver Fan First podcast, where we go deep with artists into their history as a fan, because all artists were fans first. Here we have Dentata. Welcome.
Major fan right here.
It's pretty
Super
good to have
fan.
you here. Yeah, well, it's important and universal, and yeah. And you just put out your first album, which is kind of a pivotal moment in cementing, almost showing you're kind of wearing what you love on your sleeve, I guess, and what you want to sound like. Would that be the case?
Oh yeah, like all of my influences and inspirations, I feel like, are on the album.
Who would win in a fight of all of them? Like if you had a musical Mount Rushmore, let's lay them out, and then we can lay out who would take them out. Like, it's important.
Okay. I would put Britney Spears on the Mount Rushmore.
Free Britney.
Yeah, she'd be there. Limp Bizkit. So maybe just Fred Durst, since that would take up a lot of bodies.
I want to see Britney take out Fred, honestly.
Yeah.
Dance move with dance.
Who else? I mean, Eminem.
Solid.
50 Cent.
There are no metal bands in this thing, just a heads up. You should probably get one in there.
I mean, Limp Bizkit, I would consider.
Oh, sorry, that is totally and you did it. Were they at Woodstock 99?
Yes,
because you got a song called D-Stock 99. Like, you made a funny joke.
I had to change it was Woodstock 99, and then the label made me change it because HBO bought the rights to Woodstock 99 to do the documentary that just came out of theirs. And so it was like this issue. I spiraled a lot. I was very upset about changing it from Woodstock 99. So then it was like D-Stock 99, fine, but
close. Like, it doesn't take long to get into the song where you're like, oh yeah, cool. Because that was like a dark moment in rock history. Like, there was fires and all sorts of stuff. How did you, you would have been a kid when that happened.
Yeah, I just have been obsessed with finding the video of the festival online ever since I could, since I guess I was like 8 or 9 when that happened. I think I was 9. And yeah, I've just watched the festival on the computer like my whole life growing up. I watch that festival like once a month, like all the performances. I'm so inspired by it, and I've been obsessed with it my whole life. Whoa. And I find it so ironic because there was like all this horrible shit going on and everything that I'm against, and that had happened to me in my life basically. So I feel like my life has been like Woodstock 99, and like it's it's ironic, and I've been so obsessed with the performances, which makes sense now because it's like the most like male aggression in a concert ever.
Yes, they played Fire while the place was on fire. They played the Jimi Hendrix song Fire while I was on fire. Like, it's 9 Inch Nails Woodstock 94 is my jam. That is my thing I was obsessed with as a kid. Like, that was them covered in mud. It's it's funny how much this stuff can imprint you from a very small person. On that note, who was the first artist you saw yourself in?
Ooh, that's a good one. I saw myself in, I could say Britney Spears, but like that's probably more just me wanting to see myself in her.
So the other one is, who did you first put on a pedestal? Because they're the two different things. It's like, I see myself, or damn, I'm not. That is the benchmark sort of thing. I don't know why I had to reach into the sky.
I mean, it's so sad and fucked up now, this answer, but like honestly, Marilyn Manson was the first for me as a child. Like, seeing that, it felt otherworldly, it felt godly, and that was, in terms of pedestal, like, man, I worshipped him like he was God. Felt like he was God.
Well, you didn't, it's not an accident you named your album Antichrist when Antichrist Superstar, and you've got Man That You Fear as a repeated refrain. I'm like, I was a teenage goth. I heard that, and it's like, it makes me so mad that what happened, like what he did and what happened, and that these women went through all this stuff. And it's so hard when you have been affected by something to then have it taken away, I think, because it gets taken away a bit. I don't know, like.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like almost like even like relating to Woodstock 99, it's like, for me, it's like, wow, this thing that I have been so obsessed with also contains everything that has held me back and that I'm against. So it's like this complete mind fuck.
Yeah, it's like, why I just want to burn you to the ground for taking away music that affected me in a really, like a big way. I'm really mad. I'm sorry, I'm gonna calm down.
Yeah, it's, you know, what's frustrating about it is like, now it's like, we have to do work on like how we feel about art that we love. And it's like, that's fucking labor for us as well. It's like, damn you for making me even have to like compute how to even feel about this, or like, you know, I even feel like it's hard to even talk about, you know, it's hard. But it's not, it's part of my like truth and history. And so
my heart breaks for those women. Yeah, my heart breaks for those women and stuff. And it's like, it's never okay. And there's a lot of complexity about power. And like, one thing that's weird, and I think it's true of a lot of women who like heavy music, is you spend your whole childhood singing along to dudes. And like metal is all dudes. But there's all these amazing women in punk, like Wendy O. Williams, you know, Slits. There's like so many badass chicks in punk. Why do you think that is?
I mean, even when I was like a teenage metalhead, it was like, it was very misogynist, and like the way that we were treated and talked to as girls, like just even in the local scene, it was very frustrating. It like drove me actually to get better at guitar, because it just pissed me off how they were.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been that way. And like, honestly, it's why I left metal and went on to explore like all other genres and scenes and everything, because it did feel like extremely limiting as a woman. And I felt like even as a girl band at the time, what I saw was not, I felt like, you know, even just seeing Butcher Babies, like, no offense, but like, I just felt like, is this really what it has to be like? And I didn't relate to that. And I didn't, you know, no shade to them. Like, it just was like, it makes sense why they are doing their thing, you know, because it's like, it's just, I don't even want to piss anyone off, but like, that just, it was disheartening for me. And it just was like, but I don't want it to have to be that. I don't know. It just felt very limited, and not because of the women, because of the scene and culture and mentality by the men.
It's a weird, like, it's a weird ass place, man. Like, I used to tour with a festival. I did it for 4 years, and I think there were like 8 women a year on the bill. And there was just a lot of me that was quite traumatized and angry about it in a way. And I was just like, there aren't, on 80 bands, there aren't 4 women who deserve to be here. Like, what is that? That's not okay. Like, what? It's just not okay. And so I mean, tell us how you started your band, your metal band Dentata.
That was around, I think I was like 17 or 18, and I had a couple of girlfriends who were musicians too. And there was an amazing scene in Toronto at the time. Like, the metal scene was amazing, the punk scene was amazing, and everybody was in a band that I knew. And I really wanted to have a girl band. I was loving listening to Hole and Nirvana and that kind of stuff around that time, and like started learning guitar that way, and just saw like, I need to have a all girl band. Like, there isn't one in Toronto. We need to do this. And so we all got together, and we like barely knew how to play our instruments at the time, like just like made a song and then just went from there. And it was really pure and raw and genuine and fun and free spirited. It was amazing.
Well, what was the first formative experience you committed to paper? Like, I feel like you kind of need to have something that really like gets underneath your skin to make it a song.
As far as like why I wanted to make music and my experiences.
Yeah. Like what did you write about? When did you start writing about, like?
Oh, immediately fuck men in every sense of the word, like every song, and
Like
you know,
men,
now
fuck men in both ways? Like fuck
like
man,
no, like
fuck man.
bad
Sorry, that was terrible. Like I'm a monster.
no, it was definitely like anti men and, you know, anger against men. Pretty much all of the lyrics.
Yeah.
You know, I had already, without even my knowledge, I had experienced a lot of abuse and assault already at that age. So I subconsciously that was just my only, I think, output for that, was to write these songs and let out that aggression. Plus, like, you know, everyone else in the band had experienced some bullshit too from men. So it was an easy theme.
It's our universal experience. It's like, and that is why we have a unique kind of rage that you can't really know. And I've been thinking about it. I'm like, it's like when your body is a weapon, you can use it as a weapon, but the gun can also be turned around on you, sort of thing. Like your body is a weapon. Like a female body is a weapon. It's just sometimes you gets turned around and you get shot in the face. That sounds terrible, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
That was you know what I mean. Like,
yes.
oh God, I'm gonna die.
Stabbed in the back. Whatever.
Yeah, just stabbed in the back, like knocked out. Like it's well, did that help you process pain and trauma? Like, does it lessen intensity or does it increase it?
Like in those days or now?
You have a bit of both. Well, actually, then and now.
Yeah, I think in those days that was, I didn't have the like knowledge or understanding of myself and what was happening to me. It just, something felt like wrong and bad, and that definitely was my only, never had like any therapy or anyone to talk to about what was going on. I was very much on my own. So that was definitely my only release. And I think it's why it was like, the Dentata shows very chaotic and emotional and aggressive. And I think that's because that was the only output that I had at the time.
Yeah.
Now I do that now, but very consciously, and, you know, with a better understanding of myself and my story. And so it is like glorified therapy for me.
Yeah. It's like it's a shared thing. It becomes group therapy in a concert situation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It is group therapy for us, you know, and we didn't get to hear ourselves on record enough. We hear a lot of man stories and shit. And it's like, I really like apology about kind of stop projecting your bullshit on me. Like this is your own problem in the mirror kind of thing. And I think that is one of the most fundamental and most important things, especially we can learn as women. Stop projecting your insecurities on other people. This isn't about them. It's not about that person that you're, and I think women are getting more and more, the younger women get, the worse it is. And I think it's a really important message to talk about in song. And when did you look yourself in the mirror real hard as a kid? Like, or did that happen later?
I never looked myself in the mirror truly until the pandemic. The summer before last I had like a spiritual awakening, psychotic breakdown where I like went fully crazy. And because I've had experienced a large amount of trauma and have complex PTSD from it, and I'm just learning these things now because I never had therapy. Yeah. And like when I got my record deal, it was like, you know, some people get like a car or whatever. I was like, I'm getting therapy, like good ass therapy.
I'm all about therapy. I do CBT and DBT, which is a real good combination. Okay. They're friends. Yeah, they're real good friends. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so sick.
It's tools. They give you tools. It's not about some Freudian bullshit. It's tools.
Yeah, no, to do the work, because it's actually work. And that's what I had been doing at that time. But I felt like I was going to therapy, but it like wasn't hitting. And then my friend said to me, because also like, because of all this trauma and stuff, I've never been able to find like a good manager either. Like it was affecting my relationships, but also my business relationships, because I couldn't trust anyone. I was always so hyper vigilant and like always having the worst managers, like just people that weren't even good people. And it was like, why does this keep happening? You know, and I couldn't resolve this. And then my friend, he said to me one day, he's like, you know, like once you beat Dana, you beat everyone, right? Like you need to beat Dana first. And I felt that way. It was like, you know what? I'm not even going to get a manager until like I figure out what's going on with me. Why have I had like 12 managers in like a year? Like what's going on with me? Because I can look into that. I could take accountability and I can make a change. And that was just like a side part of like healing the trauma of my whole life. But like that came with it. Was like, I need to look at myself in the mirror. I was at home, like psychotic, writing that song, like shaking, like my veins, like feeling it, like every word was like, you know, I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to other people kind of in the beginning of the song, but then in the end, I'm talking to myself and I'm screaming it at myself because I had to literally break through myself and look at myself. And then it's like, it like shattered and I just saw everything for what it was, everything that's happened to me. And I started to see like colors clearer. I could taste clearer. Nothing was ever the same. And I downloaded all this information. Every relationship I had with all these managers, like I saw them for what it was. And like, there was one who did actually care about me, but I couldn't see it at the time because it was just like projecting my own shit of what had happened to me onto all these other people. Like, it's like, you're not safe. You're going to hurt me. You want something from me. And that's just because it was all I knew. And then I saw like, that was me doing that. And I was able to call him and apologize and take accountability for my paranoia and hypervigilance and like mend that relationship. It's like so much happened. Like my whole life changed, you know, while writing that song and like looking at myself in the mirror. Like nothing has ever been the same. And it's the best thing that's ever happened.
It's my favorite. So it's a big song then. Cool.
Thank you.
That makes it more meaningful that it was this moment in your life. Like I mean that's really everything when you start to like, and I've been talking about this, like the whole concept of sitting in your feelings, because people go to such enormous lengths to avoid feeling these feelings. They do drugs, they do you know, a million weird addictive behaviors that aren't necessarily drugs, but things that you go to numb that and to not go into that place. So to actually do that is pretty sick. And
you know, it's like, it is so much easier to take a bunch of drugs and like not think about it. The hardest thing you can do is face yourself in the mirror and who the fuck you are and like hold yourself accountable despite what's happened to you. Like gaining that grasp on yourself, it's so uncomfortable and painful. And I love hearing, I've heard a bunch of people say my album is very uncomfortable, and I'm like, good, because this whole album is that healing process and all the work that comes with it, and it is fucking uncomfortable, and it needs to be. Nothing good ever came from being comfortable.
No, it's the thing. It's uneasy listening. It's a bit uncomfortable. Like, I'm not gonna lie. The first time I was like, this is pretty full on. This is like a strong ass drink. The second time I listened to it, I'm like, yeah, I like it. I'm having another one. This is good.
Okay.
I don't drink, but you know that it is a thing. Okay.
Yes.
When did you first connect to music and power?
Music and power.
That relates to this because you found power in music and put power in music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What did you connect them?
I mean, yeah, I think I connected it when I started my girl band, and like we started performing shows, and that's when this alter ego person was born and created, and like she held all the power. So like when we would play, that person that completely takes over me, that is not the real me at all. Like this person is a serial killer, psycho, like nothing can stop her, invincible, like listens to no one. And that's like who she became. And like, it just kind of happened. I guess that's like what an alter ego is. It just is this different sort of identity that comes out of you. But yeah, that I was shown that by myself, you know, just like being like, whoa, like what happens to me? Like, this is so crazy.
So is that how did kind of coming up with some crazy stage shit and performance arty stuff come from after you kind of felt that persona, or did having all of that kind of set up? And can you describe it, because not everyone will know the crazy ass shit you did with that band? And
oh yes, we did the most. We had like a giant coffin on stage, and we had a fabric vagina on the front, and then we'd have one of our drag queen friends hide inside the coffin, and then we had a song about giving birth to Satan's baby in the middle of the set, and we would have them like crawl out of the vagina, and then it was nuts. I would pull out my tampon and eat it, pull a snake out of my pants. I'd have an axe on stage, like a real one, and just be like hacking at everything. Just like fun stuff like that. We had a pig's head. It was very fun and resourceful, creative.
Yeah.
Time.
You need a pig's head.
Yeah.
Yes. That Mayhem and this other band had this guy told me a story once where Mayhem had pigs' heads on stage, but they didn't replace the pigs' heads. They just used the same ass pig's head for a whole tour. And this other dude was like, I had to avoid their bus. I had to go around. I was just like, I can't be anywhere near these dudes. They're disgusting. And then, okay, I'm just going to tell very briefly 2 pig's head stories. And then the other one was the guys from Dillinger played with Mayhem. And instead of scary stuff, they had a big pink world beach ball that they brought out and put into the crowd, which is kind of an interesting hard right turn. Like, I
like that.
Yeah, you can. I mean, I'm just saying, if you what are you going to do now, stage wise and stuff? Because obviously, I imagine you're going to probably going to tour this eventually when we're not all. I mean, we've been locked in our houses for 100 and something days. So
God,
yeah,
I know it's so crazy.
Yeah. So what? Yeah,
I just played 3 festivals in the UK.
Yay!
So that was really fun, and I did, I had a drummer, and, you know, I did my stuff. I had my props and my babies and my Barbies and all that stuff. But, I've been like coming out in this giant clown suit that I can rip off. First, I like to trick everyone and they think I'm like some random clown person.
Like
and
an
then
insane clown posse guy kind of thing?
More like Rob Zombie, like scary, big scary costume.
That's a lot more credible. That's outrageously more credible than ICP.
It's scary, and yeah, and then I die on stage like as that person, and then I come back to life as me.
Yeah.
And yeah, just add in fun secret things, you know. I'll switch it up. I'm playing another festival in 2 weeks.
Sick.
In Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, Louder Than Life Festival. Metallica's playing. There's a bunch of sick bands playing.
You a Metallica guy?
I like Metallica, yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate them. Definitely. My band used to cover Jump in the Fire off Kill 'Em All.
That's my favorite era. Like a lot of bands, the youngest, dirtiest moment.
Yeah.
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 Like,
I fucking love Jump in the Fire. I'm so proud of myself that I can play that on guitar too.
That's yeah. What? Okay.
Yeah.
What was the first song you taught yourself?
I think it maybe was a Nirvana song, or Under the Bridge, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Oh no. Then no. Deep Purple. That's like the first thing anyone plays when they ever have.
It's
Deep Purple.
It's a classic. Like, yeah, you can't kind of mess around with that.
Yeah.
Those dudes are really funny. They're like 100, but when they hang out together, they're like 20.
Not surprising.
It's not really. I guess it's not that surprising, but it's like, it's so cool to see people get to live their dream for their whole life, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do that? Go on.
Yeah. So why not? Why not?
Yeah. Did you kind of dream of all of this when you were a kid, or?
Yeah, I've never thought for a second I'd do anything else. Definitely as a kid though, I thought more in the Britney Spears like Disney thing, and then that just turned. I don't know what happened. I mean, I do, but
yeah, okay, yes.
Definitely.
You went to the dark side at some point, dude. There was something, some hard right turn happened. Yeah,
I know. And like obviously, yeah, a lot of the trauma and darkness like brought me there, but I even was like into Manson like before anything bad at all had ever happened in my life. So like I know I was already drawn to the dark side.
Yeah.
Just meant to be. I don't know. I just like it better over here.
It's like it's fun. So you like Smells Like Children kind of era, or like did you
All
get
of that.
yeah, it bums me out because it was the greatest angry teenager music. And yeah, I'm still mad. Yeah, that like Cake and Sodomy, you know, there was a lot of good tunes. Get Your Gun, like
I mean,
that dude ruined a lot of shit for me. A lot of my childhood. Yeah.
A lot of fire t-shirts we can't wear anymore. A whole lot. I feel very let down. Just so let down.
I feel real angry. So it's okay. Were you a goth into what was your how did you reflect what you're into as a teenager and stuff? What were you wearing?
I always had fucking band t-shirts, like always wearing a band t-shirt.
The Cradle of Filth, Jesus is a Cunt. Did you ever mess with that? That was a classic.
No, but
that was a classic.
Yeah, I needed that.
Yeah.
So fire. I really loved like Motorhead and you know the fucking denim vests and leather pants.
What about the Reebok high tops, like the full-on thrash uniform? Like,
oh yeah, wore those for years. Like once my friends even just like passed me a shoebox with new ones because I just wore mine so gnarly into the ground. They were just like, you can have this. I was like, damn.
Man. I love seeing 19-year-old kids wearing that stuff because it's like they weren't born when it happens. Yeah. I love it so much. But I think it's true. I love a lot of us, like we got into the music long after it happened. Like being into Nirvana and Hole and stuff as a kid, like that happened before I was, you know, like of age, you know, but we all got into, it's interesting how like the kids of the internet even got into stuff later than it happened. You'd think you'd be more timely, but quite often you're not, you're looking back sort of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, like in a way it feels like it because like I'm a 90s baby, so it would make sense that I love Nirvana and Hole, but like that I was like listening to that in like 2012, you know?
Yeah,
it's like that I missed the boat already.
Were you ever a typo negative guy?
I appreciate them now. I did not even find out about them until like the last couple years. Like never had heard of them before, which is a shame because they are incredible.
Yeah, and you've got some shades of like typo. I like the atmospheric kind of stuff. Like you guys atmosphere. You bring some atmospheres.
I hear that a lot, which is cool. I definitely need to listen to them more.
October Rust, whole thing. Just put it on, just end to end. You'll be sweet.
October Rust, yeah. Okay.
It's really good. It's absurd. Okay. It's just a goth. It's also basically the best sex music in the history of time. Just that whole album. It should be the whole album. That's a test. That's a test. If a man
amazing.
He's probably worth having around. Anyway, I'm sorry.
I'll test my friend right after this call.
I'm a monster. I'm a real monster. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, what are 5 songs that changed your life?
Damn.
I always drop this on people and they're like, why did you just drop this on me? You monster.
Right? Oh my God, 5 that changed my life.
Nice and insignificant question. Just nothing.
So I'm so bad with names, so I have to like look it up. I don't know about like life-changing songs, like maybe more life-changing albums.
This is the theme that comes back on this question a lot. I should probably change it in retrospect.
Because I'm like thinking like songs, like there's a lot of songs. I could think more of like 5 of my own songs that changed my life.
That isn't a bad take. Like,
yeah, but for album, honestly, chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water like changed my life for real. Like I can honestly say that. Just hearing that aggression, the swearing, the attitude, the power, and the non-giving a fuck, like that was the first thing I'd ever heard like that. And it was just like, I feel like it kind of like embedded itself into me and my attitude and just like who I was as a person, you know, just kind of like, and Eminem, multiple Eminem records too, did that too. Like, I feel like it put like a mentality, and Manson albums as well. I feel like all of those shaped me and my personality, and yeah, like my attitude, and like it influenced me a lot.
Bit of this, like just a little
Yes,
bit. Yeah.
Middle fingers in the air, middle fingers.
Is that going well at festivals?
That song?
Yeah.
Oh yes, they love it.
That's
they just start moshing like before the song even comes on.
That's a straight festival banger. That's a certified banger. You're not going to mess around with that. That's definitely in the vein. What? See, I never understood Fred Durst, and I feel like this is a revelation that maybe I missed something important. Like
what? Like, why are they good?
Yeah, I just never. I have some garbage taste, dog. I'm not gonna like. I'm not.
No,
yeah,
like,
I'm not saying that is, but you know what I mean. Like, it's interesting who connects with what, you know, and that's also.
Yeah, well,
that gave you
grew up around people who liked like pretentious art bands and like, you know, like new wave bands like that. So like, I always got clowned for liking Limp Bizkit or Kid Rock. Like, I always got made fun of. So like, I'm so used to that. I'm more used to like it being people laughing at me for that than like being like, hell yeah, I like them too, you know? So like, I mean, I know what you mean. What is it? I don't know. It's just it's just like silly.
Yeah.
And like silly and not giving a fuck. You know,
I'm gonna revisit it because I feel like I've never given it enough time, and it really irritates me when people write stuff off without like listening to the thing or like getting into it properly. Like, have you actually given things airtime in a real way? People are too quick these days to just black and white, you know, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Who do you see as your audience?
I feel like I don't know. It's cool because I feel like it isn't what you would expect, which is like just women, for example. Like even the tours I've done, like more men have bought my Trust No Dick shirts than women. Like the people selling my merch will tell me that they keep track, and it's like more men are buying this shirt.
Trust No Dick.
Yeah, more men.
I love that so much.
Honestly, I feel like if you're a man and you haven't been a piece of shit to women, and you haven't raped or abused or manipulated anyone, and you don't have anything to hide, you kind of ride for that saying too, because you get it. So it's like,
and not enough, you know, not enough people talk about the whole men and women thing, the whole like where we're at in this moment, which is a significant moment and a breaking point, and you know, this is the moment we all found out kind of thing, and people started to be able to talk about it and all that kind of stuff. That there is this side of it that we don't talk about, which is the guys on our side. There is actually a lot of really good guys out there. There's some absolute pieces of garbage, and a disturbing proportion of women have encountered them, but we don't give enough airtime. Like and I was talking to one of my best friends about this the other day, non-toxic masculinity, like divine masculinity and stuff, is a beautiful thing. When a man is,
I love it.
When a man, like, I'm straight, I'm enthusiastic about men. Not that, you know, let your freak flag fly, whatever you're into or whatever, but like dudes there's something very beautiful about it. And I feel like I wish we could have a bigger discussion about the complexity of this, and that men aren't all garbage. They're not, like, they're just not.
No. And I love masculinity. My boyfriend is very masculine, and like I need that. And I think it could, as long as it's non-toxic, it is a beautiful thing, and it's so important to have. And I also believe that men are extremely repressed as well by the same thing that
Yes.
is the structure of what is oppressing women too. And I think like men also, like it's so overlooked how many men deal with abuse, and they, because of patriarchy and masculinity and how fragile that is, it's so hard. There's that, and then it's also the aspect of sexuality that comes into play when like young men are abused by men and stuff. It's like they are silenced not only by culture and society, but like by further sexual identity even. So there's so much silencing going on, and it means so much to me when men feel included in what I'm talking about, because I intend for them to be included in this.
Yeah. That's really important. And I think, yeah, I just wish we could have a bit more nuance about it. That doesn't mean I'm not like, let's destroy the power structures, let's burn it to the ground, let's change everything, and like everything needs to be changed. But it's not an accident that men are so effective at committing suicide, and that is so effective at committing suicide is a terrible way of putting it, but they do it a lot more. Like they do it an astonishing amount more. And I wish we could both come to a place together where we go, we have both been oppressed by this. I'm not saying, coming into what you do, saying fuck all men, that's an important message too. Like that. So there's a lot of complexity to this.
We need some balance, because it's very much in many ways fuck women. Like not necessarily everyone's saying it, but like look at our birth control setup that we got. It's shit. It sucks. So you know what? That as a whole is fuck women. So like me going fuck all men or whatever in a song, to me that just creates a little bit of balance, because the scale is so fucking tilted.
Yeah, it's well needed balance, especially what's going on in Texas. It's just terrifying, man. Like watching from over here, it's just like, are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me?
Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. Yeah.
Like in 2021, it's like you look at those like proper hardcore feminists who fought for this shit in the 60s and the 70s, badass women from the beginning. And you're like, they are like old and watching this unfold, thinking, how are we?
Oh God.
How are we still here? Like, it's ape shit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. We really need to fight back against this and do something. And it's something that's on my mind every day. Like, I really want to help. I had an interview this morning with a guy who lives in Texas, and he was very upset and concerned about it, which was nice to see from a man. But it's just like, fuck, what do we do? Like, it's politics and having to advocate, and that's so much as well. I'm just like, I want such an instant fix that I'm like, maybe it's like, oh, I've had 2 abortions because I could not get my birth control figured out because it made me crazy, and I needed a copper IUD, and that hurts so bad to get inserted that I couldn't have it. So that's why I've had 2 abortions. So it's like, fuck, maybe we really need to support women in Texas getting the right birth control that's right for them, and getting the right resources. And I'd love to, provide that, raise money to buy IUDs, give them as many IUDs as possible, just in the meantime, while obviously there's a bigger fight to be had. But like, I feel like that maybe could help, because, it's like, yeah, I've had 2 abortions, and I'm so grateful and lucky that I've been able to have that, because it was not right for me. Yeah. But at the same time, I didn't want to have those, and I didn't need to have those if I would have had the right support with birth control.
It's like no one wants to be in that experience. Like, and it's a really important point to go, well, we actually need to go one step back. Why are they happening? Because and they need to sort out something that isn't hormonal birth control, because that stuff is a recipe for being a complete mental, it's
not possible for me to take it. And honestly, it scares me to think about how many women in this world don't feel right every day, or are more emotional or not themselves, and they don't even know, because they're so used to being on it, and we're told it's the only option,
it's really like, yeah, it makes me mad. I just hope we can get to a different place. Do you feel like music has a role to play in changing people's minds? I mean, sometimes I think like people don't change their minds a lot. And like, I've got friends who fight on the internet and enjoy it. And they're like, one of my best friends, but she wrote like, I'm not arguing with you. I'm trying to explain how you're wrong. And I'm just like, it's not going to work. Like
Right.
people don't walk away from comment threads and go, you know what, that was a really nuanced take on that. I'm gonna think clearly about where I stand on this issue. That's not a thing. Can music change people's opinions? And have you ever had people come up to you and go, I haven't thought about it that way? Or is it, I mean,
Yeah, I think it's made a lot of men think about things that they haven't in particular. And like I've definitely talked to a lot of men who are appreciative of my message and the things I say, and aren't thinking about those things. And even women aren't thinking about these things pertaining to themselves, and then it's making them think and discover things about themselves.
So that's, I mean, if you're taking people on an inward journey, I mean, that's kind of the beginning of change, right? Like we don't
Yes.
change from the inside. We got to change from the inside out, kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay, hip hop. You rap and stuff. What's your history?
Yeah.
How did this? And you know, you mentioned Eminem and you know, like new metal stuff. And yeah, how did you get into that? And when you're writing lyrics, how do you decide what kind of? Because you can do so many things between sing and rap and do whisper and do all this stuff. How do you approach that shit?
Yeah, it's like when do you do what? But I do feel like even as far as rapping, like I don't really consider myself a rapper, you know, because like the reason why I definitely wanted to rap, I do love rap and I'm very influenced by Tupac, 50 Cent, Eminem. Like I love wordplay and they're so amazing. I love like watching YouTube videos of their lyric videos to listen to them. So it's like watching because I want to like take it in. The lyricism is so good. But I felt like I related more to that style because I have things I need to say, direct messages to be heard very clear, and that needs to be spoken, you know?
Yes, because have you ever
like,
tried to listen to a black metal album?
Singing,
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like if I'm just like, or I'm singing and like all these melodies, whatever, it's like the message can get lost. So like it's very like I need to tell these stories, I need to say these messages, and it needs to be like spoken and said. So that's kind of like how I always wanted to do this as well. But you know, I also felt I understand that as a white woman, it's like, you know, that's not it's Black culture where it stems from. And so, you know, I'm very conscious and aware of that, and having white privilege, and it made me very hesitant to do it, but it's just the way that this art wants to come out of me, and I'm not gonna deny myself of that.
No, well, you're good at it, man. And I like being able to hear lyrics. Like, because there's black metal albums I like, and I'm like,
I had to
it's
say
so hard.
it, you know. Yeah, I wanted to say it and be heard. This is how I feel. I'm heard.
Sometimes it's nice not to need the lyric booklet. I'm like trying to interview a death metal vocalist. I've got no idea what he just said, and the lyrics are now I'm like, no idea what just happened. Something. Yeah, you're real mad about it, bro. Don't know what you said, and so
you'll never know. Yeah.
No, you never know. And this is yeah, I feel the same way about hip hop and stuff. The musical storylines. What was the first musical storyline that you really connected with? Because I feel like, I'm not necessarily saying like a concept album, Pink Floyd's The Wall, or some that's way too old. But you know what I mean. Oh, yeah.
Very well. Well, Eminem, I think in general, he tells these grandiose stories in his songs, and so like, you know, how much he shared about his personal life, like his life is the storyline in his songs. So that I always was so obsessed with how much he told stories about his life and had all these different characters and all these different voices in the stories. Like there's like different people in the story, and it's just, yeah, just hearing all of that, I connected with that a lot and wanted to do the same.
Yeah, well, because there's no one who can tell your story better than you, right? Like, you know, you can go all Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, like, if you want. Like, all those prog dudes love that shit. It's definitely a different kind of an art form. That's like hardcore escapism. Okay, now you had some pretty heavy early experiences with mortality and stuff, and how did that change your experience of life? Just a nice small question, but yeah, like you
yeah, how I think well, definitely losing a parent at a young age. I think that could probably be maybe like a young girl's biggest fear. And so once that was a factor in my life, I think that I pretty much lived like fearlessly after that. Whoa. And really went for it and just didn't give a fuck. And it took me a lot of places that maybe I wouldn't have gone, you know, if I had been more like stable and grounded and had support. So it took me on a journey. I think too, it's interesting. Someone pointed out to me, like Madonna, she also lost her mom at a young age.
Really?
And because someone was relating that to me with the fact that like there's no, like she had these intense sexual messages with no shame, and you know it was like X-rated, and like she didn't have to, there was no one she had to be like, oh, she's gonna kill me, you know. It was like, well, it takes that element away. So yeah. It also allowed me to like say and do whatever I wanted in my art, and not, you know, there was no one that was gonna like get mad at me for what I was wearing or what I was saying. So I was kind of just like free to go as far as I wanted.
Yeah, that's a pretty beautiful thing to take from something so hard.
Yeah,
you know, like that's really beautiful to become an artist and to do that. Had you already decided to be an artist before that?
No, I knew that I wanted to do that, and I was going to, but I was only 13, so it was like, you know, still just like at home going to school. Yeah. But like my mom had been taking me to like voice lessons and like acting stuff, and like we were gearing me to do some like Disney type shit. So then that was kind of like on the way. Sometimes I wonder like, what would I be on a Disney show, or like what would have happened if she'd been there, because she was very much like stage mom. Like that whole setup was like on its way, and then that ended. And then that's actually when I got sucked into the modeling, because family friends thought, oh, you should be a model because you're tall and skinny. So and I remember they would always be like, there's our model. And I was like, no, I'm a singer. Like, I'm not going to be that. And then they thought like that would be a good thing for me to do to keep me occupied and, you know, have other people mind me. Yep. So I got sucked into that for a couple years, and
it's a weird ass industry.
It wasn't ever what I wanted.
That's a weird ass industry. It's a fashion industry.
Especially at that time. Like now it's like girls have no idea how lucky they are. They just like get to be whoever they want on Instagram and like get booked, whatever. But like the classic typical high fashion modeling that I was doing was like, you cannot have your hips be over 35 inches or you get in trouble. And like, you know, how you look, it was so specific and controlled and like not good for like a 14-year-old girl.
The difference is so stark. Hey, like the difference is so stark. Now models are having 20-year careers and stuff and getting to grow up and have their whole life story. And back then you were invisible on some level. Like you were just in the campaign. You were in American Apparel campaign. Was that weird? Or was it good?
That was a whole experience in itself. Like I was the last person to model for that company while that owner had his reign. I was the last one, and it's a whole thing. Like, I was like waitressing at a strip club in Toronto, and he found me and was like, "Oh, you're gonna be the face of the company." And then I was like, "Sure, whatever." Cut to a month later, I'm like traveling with him and everyone in his company, like modeling and designing shit. And I lived in his mansion in California. And yeah, he took me out of Toronto, and like that's how I first started coming to LA. But it was obviously insane, and I saw some insane things. But yeah, it started me coming out here, and it will be probably some Netflix special one day or something.
Well, you've had some life, dog. You've had some life. You've had some life in your young years, and I got to say, I think it's better to come out hard than be a Disney person and then have to shake that off. Like, you see Miley Cyrus trying to, like, she's a good singer, right? She's a good rock singer, but it's going to be hard for her to drop the way she came out into the world. It's going to be very hard.
Yeah, I don't get rock star from her. Like, no offense, but it's like, yeah, when you know that person has been like coddled their whole life. I mean, she's obviously like gone through her own shit, but like, I don't know. There's something about like people like Eminem where it's like they came from that, and just like their essence just brought them to this point, and just having that whole story and genuine pain and struggling and suffering behind it. Like, I feel that resonates with me. That's like what's true to me. Like Hole in Nirvana, for example, it's like the lives that they were living and where they come from. And it's just not the same when it's like, this is, especially like, I don't know. It's like, if you haven't had a lot of trauma, like I can't relate to you, you know, like can't relate.
You had it on easy street. Well, it's like all of our, I don't know. I feel like my best qualities are all from pain. all the best parts of, you know, you can grow like from scar tissue and stuff, and that's like, and that's kind of awesome. And I think that's accurate. Rock and roll is defined as coming from the real place, and you can't come from a real place if you haven't been to some real ass places.
Yeah, and you can't pay enough stylists and designers and producers and band members and whatever. You can't, like, there's no price on that. You can't buy that.
No, not at all.
You can buy it to make it look like it, but at the end of the day, that like, you can't buy that.
No. I think that's a pretty good way to go out on the show. I think that's strong. That's a strong ass move. Let's I like to go out strong. And we're not topping that. That's real. So thanks for being on the show. It's been really interesting. People are even more I thought you'd be interesting, but you're more interesting than I thought you'd be, and that was already interesting. So sick. Yeah. So thanks for watching, everyone. This is Dentata. This was the Revolver Fan First podcast. She has a new album called Pantychrist, which shreds. Get it. And yes, may your day be most triumphant.